Hey guys, welcome to Solo ReacTalk. Today I'm going to be reacting to the legacy of Kain, Melchiah, yeah, a character study done by Strictly Fantasy. And if you want to check out my previous reactions to other Legacy of Kain videos, remember the playlist card will be at the top. Just click on it and be able to access them. Okay, let's start. 3, 2, 1, go.
Do you not recognize me, brother? Am I so changed?
Our story begins with a gate slamming shut, trapping our main character. The Wraith, Raziel, surveys his surroundings, taking in this new environment. A subterranean chamber with a rounded cage at its core. As he starts to circle the room, the Wraith hears a growl and notices something stirring in the dark. A huge, monstrous bulk lumbers into view. Its slug-like body, a mass of corpses and mangled organs, heaves
Corpses and mangled organs. Oh gosh.
and pulsates. Gleaming red eyes stare down with murderous intent, and Raziel,
This maneuver that he does, every time when he's still, he's always moving like this. It's so interesting. It's so very interesting.
recognizing the beast before him, realizes with horror what a vile abomination his brother Melchiah has become. After all these years since playing Soul Reaver on the PlayStation 1 as a kid, this encounter has struck me as one of the most terrifying scenes preceding a boss battle in gaming. Just seeing Melchiah's mutated flesh left me with chills, and knowing that you couldn't damage him with Raziel's claws made this creature all the more frightening. Before becoming
Wait, don't you have like the Soul Blade with you? The Soul Reaver, I mean. The blade. Okay.
a vampire, Melchiah was born as a human long ago in Nosgoth's early years. He was indoctrinated into the Holy Order of the Seraphim Brotherhood, where he participated in a fanatical crusade to eliminate Nosgoth's vampire population, believing them to be a pestilence that needed to be wiped out. Such was Melchiah's success with hunting vampires. He quickly rose to the highly respected position of Seraphim Warrior Commander, one of the Order's elite. This was something akin to a golden age for the Seraphim, as entire vampire bloodlines were decimated. At the height of their crusade, Melchiah, along with his kin, began plotting to murder the last of the ancients, Janos Audron, seeing him as the father and source of their undead foes. Finding a way to Janos proved a difficult challenge, as his mountain retreat lay well beyond the Seraphim's reach. That was until a blue demon appeared out of nowhere. Following this wraith proved valuable to Melchiah and his brothers, as it paved the way open for the Seraphim, leading them right to their prey. Cornering Janos, the Seraphim proceeded to execute the ancient by tearing the heart out from his chest. Victorious, Melchiah would return to the Seraphim stronghold with Janos' heart to be hailed as a hero. However, in the aftermath of their greatest victory, the Seraphim would suffer their most humiliating defeat. Janos' murder had angered the future time-travelling wraith Raziel. With Raziel wielding the Reaver Blade, Melchiah stood no chance, and along with his brother Zephon, fell easily to the assault of this blue creature. There's a delicious irony to Melchiah's life. For one so devoted and set in his bigoted beliefs, I find
Bigoted beliefs. Look, I want the vampires dead. Okay? If you're part of the vampire cult, or you're part of the vampire family of Kain, I want you all dead. Just because you're a vampire, I want you dead. I want you dead. If what's his name? How do you pronounce his name? Melchiah became that way because he's a vampire, and there's body parts and organs all around him that made him look like a monster like this, and it's all due because he's a vampire. I want that entire race exterminated from the face of Nosgoth. No.
it pretty twisted how he would one day become the very thing he held with such contempt. Following his death, Melchiah was memorialized, along with his Seraphim brothers, and depicted as a martyr for their holy cause. His body remained undisturbed in the tomb of the Sarafan for a millennium before being resurrected by Kain to serve as one of his 6 vampire sons. Breathing part of his life force into them to snare their souls, Kain reanimated their corpses. Unfortunately for Melchiah, he was the last to receive Kain's gift, and as such, inherited the worst share. Despite his immortality, Melchiah's new vampire body was not up to the task of maintaining his flesh, and kept falling apart.
My brother Melchiah was made last, and therefore received the poorest portion of Cain's gift.
So, because the flesh is falling apart, that means he takes the flesh of other sentient beings, mainly humans probably, and then he slaps it on himself. You know? Oh gosh.
Although immortal, his soul could not sustain the flesh, which retained much of its previous human frailty. This weakness, it seemed, was passed on to his offspring. Their fragile skins barely contained the underlying decay.
Due to being the
So not only do these people drink blood, but they're also taking the skin of their victims and placing it on themselves. And this guy created an entire family of vampires like him. I want these people dead. I need all of these vampires dead. These monstrosities that Kain created.
youngest and weakest of Kain's sons. His body is stricken with decay. Both Melchiah and his clan, the Melchiam, were forced to graft the skins of their victims onto their own bodies in order to survive. Thus, on top of having to drink blood, he also has to skin the corpses of his victims for hides to replace his own festering skin. According to the US game manual for the first Soul Reaver, Melchiah was quite fussy about his choice of human victims. It is said that he was incredibly vain, probably due to being dissatisfied with his place in the pecking order as the last of Kain's chosen sons. Feeling inferior to his brothers, he compensated for his weakness by choosing only the finest looking specimens among his human slaves.
It's interesting that Melchiah, when he was human and he was part of the Sarafang organization, he was one of the top leading knights of that organization. You know, he was at the top. But now when he's resurrected as a vampire under Kain's rule, he is one of the last. He's one of the weakest, I would say. You know, one of the unlucky ones whose physiology is literally rejecting, you know, I should say his soul is rejecting his body, you know. So yeah, from up there now to low, if I can say that.
After feeding on them, he would skin them and don their flesh to cover his own rotting flesh. Unfortunately, we don't get the best angle of Vampire Melchiah during Soul Reaver's opening cinematic. Thankfully, a highly detailed concept image of him is available, which shows him looking stocky and bald, which resembles his Sarafan self. Notice how his neck and face are bloated, and also how his skin is held together by a network of stitches. These are most likely direct consequences from the underlying decomposition. For all the flaws in his appearance, his shoulder cape is impressive, depicting the symbol of his clan in a striking golden yellow. Melchiah was present at the council meeting where Raziel revealed his wings, and also bore witness to his older brother's execution at the Abyss. Melchiah never rose any objection to Kain's command in sentencing Raziel to death, whether this was because he was too afraid to question his master due to the nature of his low position as the least favoured son, or whether it's because of his absolute loyalty to Kain is up for debate. But I have a suspicion that his reasons are a mix of both. Together, these factors motivated Melchiah to remain silent and do nothing while he obediently watched his brother being thrown into the lake of the dead. By the time Raziel emerged from the Abyss, centuries later, Kain's vast empire had dwindled, leaving a wasteland in its place. Melchiah, along with his clan, retreated to their territory in the necropolis. Here, in this large cemetery, they fed and recruited fledglings from desiccated corpses they found buried in the earth. In many ways, the Melchiah have more in common with zombies than vampires, as we see them bursting up from the ground to assail the resurrected Raziel in this era. While Melchiah originally felt he inherited a poor gift, with his body falling apart, he realized that he had gained something more, the power to add other body parts to his own, to reformulate his mass as he saw fit. With this revelation, Melchiah began a deranged journey of experimentation to prove he and his clan could become the most powerful and numerous among the clans. However, Melchiah's evolution had taken a cruel turn. He took his experiments too far. The usual method of donning his victims' skins degenerated into a far more depraved practice of incorporating entire bodies into his structure, transforming the once highborn vampire into a monstrous mass of body parts. In fact, even his fingers are severed limbs, grafted onto the ends of his arms.
Melchiah?
Yes, brother.
You know, this reminds me of a game called Dragon Age 2. The main character's mother was abducted by a mage who tried to recreate his former lover, right? And in the process of doing that, he had to abduct a lot of women who seemed similar to his wife or to his lover, and then chop up, their body parts, and then he would connect them together with magic, and then he would try to recreate his wife or his lover through these different body parts. And the main character's mother became the centerpiece that would connect all the other pieces together. And then she would become this monstrosity of half dead, half alive creature that's sustained by magic. When I see Melchiah, right, I just remember about that mission on Dragon Age 2. So yeah, it's really just, it's sad. It's sad. It's really just disgustingly sad.
You should have stayed where the Master sent you, Raziel. You will find Nosgoth less pleasant than you remember.
What has become of my clan? Answer me, little brother, or I will beat an answer from your horrid lips.
Everyone is afraid, sibling. You awake to a world of fear. These times of change are so unsettling. Do you think I feel no revulsion for this form? Do you believe for a moment that our Lord would risk his empire upon an upstart inheritance?
Enough riddles. What are you saying?
You are the last to die.
Melchiah's words are interesting here because they allude to the creature knowing more than he lets on. Specifically, his lines about whether Kain would risk his empire upon upstart inheritance could be interpreted one of two ways. He could simply be referring to the fate of the Razielim to be eradicated at Kain's hands, as believed by most in Nosgoth. On the other hand, he might suspect that Kain didn't sentence Raziel to the abyss on a jealous whim for evolving before him, and that he realizes Kain's execution of Raziel was just an act to set his plan in motion. I doubt Melchiah is aware of the details of Kain's plans to change history, but it's possible that he understands enough of his master to know something is up. Also, his words before the battle about Raziel being the last to die could refer to Raziel being the final member of the clan left standing, but then again, it might be a hint as to the order the Brethren were slain as humans, with Raziel being the last of the Sarafan to perish. Some fans have interpreted Melchiah's speech to mean that he has become so depressed and downtrodden that what he seeks is his own death, and I would agree with this sentiment. He appears genuinely repulsed with his appearance, along with the state of Nosgoth. I mean, just look at how he keeps himself hidden away from the rest of the world, concealing his ugly body in the shadows of his lair. To have put so much effort into improving his appearance for all those eons, only to then end up looking like a misshapen slug, must have come as a huge blow to Melchiah's ego. No wonder he retreated far below ground. He obviously did not enjoy his existence. When Raziel fought Melchiah, we learn that his siblings' evolution had brought some benefits along with the shortcomings. Melchiah was very strong physically and had access to the spectral realm, allowing him to phase through insubstantial barriers such as gates in the material realm to pursue the Wraith. Raziel used his surroundings to defeat his brother by luring him into the circular cage before activating the giant grinder above him to completely mince anything caught beneath it. I know a few of you may ask, well, why did Melchiah decide to live in a place that can kill him so easily? And the most realistic answer I can come up with is that his teeth have likely rotted away, so he needs the meat grinder to shred his food down to liquid in order to drink it. Disgusting, I know, but that's Nosgoth for you. In the end, I find Melchiah's final words to be quite revealing about his mental state.
Tell me, Melchiah, where can I find Kain?
The Master is beyond your reach, Raziel. He makes himself known when he sees fit, not when commanded. I am released.
Although Melchiah chose to remain loyal to Kain right to the very end, he welcomed his death, expressing relief as his painful, hideous existence finally came to a close, with his soul being consumed by his brother. Before I round off this video, I'd like to point out another interesting tidbit about Melchiah's design. The tortured faces stitched together on his evolved skin, as it turns out, are actually Crystal Dynamics employees, who put themselves in the game as a subtle in-joke among the developers. So
I can't see any human faces there, but okay. Wow.
if you want to have a glimpse at the distraught faces of the people who worked on Soul Reaver, be sure to take a closer look at Melchiah's deformed body. That's all for me today. If you enjoyed this video, do leave a like. If you'd like to add to the discussion, do comment below. And for more Legacy of Kain content, please subscribe. Have a wonderful holiday season, and I wish you all the very best for the new year.
Okay, that was Legacy of Kain Melchiah, a character study by Strictly Fantasy. Yes, Melchiah, gosh, he had to be stopped. He had to be stopped. It's really unfortunate what happened to him in terms of Kain resurrecting him with a bit of his soul, and then, you know, the soul that embodied the body could not maintain the flesh and, you know, keep him whole, you know. And the only way for him, I don't know if he needed the flesh to survive. I'm not sure about that, but, you know, he needed his victim's flesh to survive, you know, putting it on like he's wearing clothing, not only just sucking the blood of his victims. So yeah, he and his entire clan are truly cursed. They are more like zombies than vampires, I would say. But essentially, like I've said before in my other reactions, I have no qualms with people who want to exterminate the vampire race. Like Mobius, like really, I want these people dead. I want all of them dead. I want the echelons of the vampire race dead. I want Kain dead. Okay, I want every single one of them just gone from the face of Nosgoth, because really they are truly a blight, I would say. And like, you get monstrosities like him existing, you know, and it's unbelievable. Truly, it's just unbelievable. But guys, yeah, that's it for today. If you like the video, remember to give me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye bye.